Today's session looks at the important role that Memorial plays in the province's oceans ecosystem. Since Memorial's earliest days, the connections between the university and this province's ocean and Arctic sectors have been deep, and those linkages haven't just happened by circumstance. They are part of an ongoing public engagement relationship that is supported by a broad range of programs, partnerships, and strategies. Those support mechanisms and their impact on the greater oceans economy in Newfoundland and Labrador are explored in the report that we're here today to learn more about. And Rob Greenwood, the AVP of Public Engagement, External Relations, and Director of the Harris Centre, will introduce that in more detail in a minute. Please note that today's session is being recorded and you can watch yourselves or watch this all again on the Harris Centre's YouTube channel once the live stream ends. There will be a Q&A session afterwards, so if you're not in person, please feel free to type in your questions into the chat or the Q&A. And without any further delay, pleased to welcome Dr. Rob Greenwood to talk about the report further. Take it away, Rob.
Thanks, Lisa, and welcome everyone online and here in the room at the American Innovation Exchange on Signal Hill in St. John's. I'm delighted to welcome the OECD team here virtually, including Maria Sobran Bernal and Rafael Trapasso, and we've become great colleagues and friends over the last year or so. I'm also happy to welcome our panelists, Kendra McDonald, Chief Executive Officer of Canada's Ocean Supercluster, Sherry Bresnitz, Professor and Director of Research at the Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy at the University of Toronto, Michelle Sims, President and CEO of Genesis at Memorial University, and Anders Olsen. And I don't know if I see Anders on screen. Do we have Anders now, guys? When we get to the panel session, hopefully Anders will be there, if he's not already, from the Regional Growth Department, region of Värmland, Sweden. And when each of them speak, they can tell a little more about themselves. We have their bios on our website. We have worked closely with the OECD team, a group of international experts and experienced colleagues at Memorial and in the broader community within Newfoundland and Labrador, in the innovation and ocean sectors on this project, and several of whom are in the room, and I'm sure many more are online. This work connects to a larger OECD initiative investigating the role of universities in their regional innovation systems. And the beauty of this is Memorial is early in this project and will be part of it on an ongoing basis over the next few years. So our experience and learnings and excellence will be highlighted throughout the project in other jurisdictions, and we'll also be able to learn from them as this project unfolds. So it's a gift that keeps on giving. Thank you, Raphael and team. The OECD team was particularly interested in the situation at Memorial because of our unique position as the only university in our province, and because we work so closely with stakeholders in the region, in Canada, and around the world. We have an international reputation as a leader in public engagement. In fact, the OECD did a case study on our public engagement framework, which they're sharing with partner countries in the OECD. And they're particularly interested in how we've expressed that public engagement, partnering with government, community, industry in the ocean sector. On the Memorial side, it also seemed like a great opportunity in conjunction with our Coasts Initiative, Cold Oceans and Arctic, Science, Technology, and Society. We thought this would be an excellent chance to look more closely at what is happening here now and glean insights for the future. Now I'll pass things over to my colleagues from the OECD who will share the results of the study. Raphael and Maria, over to you.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure. I start just to contextualize and to continue your discussion about this community of practice that we are creating at the OECD with the support of international actors like the Memorial University. You know, events like these now we are online, but usually this is the moment in which we kiss goodbye to our counterparts. We give them the report, and we end the interaction and the cooperation. Instead, this is only is perhaps the end of the beginning of our relationship, I would say, because what we are trying to create here at the OECD is this international community of practice that connects different experiences of higher education institutions, so university, colleges, training, vocational institutions that are implementing a new way to teaching, to learning, and to cooperating, inspired a bit by this idea of entrepreneurship. And this is the reason why the call is called entrepreneurship, education, collaboration, and engagement. And with this new idea of a different role in their society. Now, in the case of the Memorial University, this is enshrined in your institutional strategy, the fact that you have to cooperate with your province and generate value. But this is somehow a new concept in many other institutions worldwide. We are trying now to level on this new role that higher education institutions feel to have with their communities, to create a new policy space in which developing innovation, teaching, collaboration, research activities, all together, all connected with the aim of generating value for society, societal impact. This is not easy, this is an effort against parsimony, would say Hirschman, with this idea that we can recognize a certain level of complexity and manage the different complementarities that we are generating among different policy areas. Think about now how blurred is the division between higher education, regional development, innovation, employment policies in this report. So thank you, Memorial University, to support OECD and in particular the ECOL platform, creating this community of practice and be credible, because we have leaders like you that support our endeavor. And then, of course, we will learn together how to push this frontier. Memorial is a bit synonymous with frontier because of the geographical location, but also for the activities that are put in place with every center that is this broker connecting research innovation through also entrepreneurial activities, also societal activities. I don't want to say too much, to not steal the time to my colleague Maria Sobron, but it will be important that in the next month, in the next year, this cooperation is strengthened in the field of the activities that we do in entrepreneurship education and the geography of education, and with respect on the sustainability agenda. So we count on you, and especially you, Rob, to be a partner, an active partner of this new policy space that we have created at the OECD, and which is ECOL. Thank you very much for being such a good partner.
Our pleasure, and over to Maria.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. So, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You're good there now.
Thank you very much. So sorry, we are sharing a room, so sometimes there's an echo. I'm gonna share my slides, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, there's the slide coming. Okay. Okay, so yes, so I will present very quickly the findings of this report. So the Geography of Higher Education review of Newfoundland and Labrador in Canada. So we are assessing, as Rob and Rafael were saying, assessing the role of Memorial within its regional ecosystem. So today I'm going to focus on 3 quick points: introduction to the review, the purpose of the review, the team behind the review, the findings, and some conclusions, some recommendations that we have identified before we start the panel discussion. So this review is part of the broader series on the Geography of Higher Education reviews. So it's a series of studies, of reviews that studies the place responsiveness of higher education institutions, meaning the ability of universities and other higher education institutions to specialize research and education, reflecting the needs of the local ecosystem in which the universities are located. This review has been undertaken in parallel with a review in the province of Quebec, which will be launched very shortly on May 5th. You can email us afterwards and we will send you the link to the launch event. And there's been a previous report already undertaken by the OECD in the region of Farmland in Sweden. And all of these good practices will constitute a handbook of international good practices, where we will explain what are the special practices that each universities are putting in place to be more place responsive. So as already mentioned before, it's the only university in a sparsely populated resource-based province. And specialized in ocean-based industries. So we thought that was a very particular case, and seeing also that the region now needs to slowly faces a lot of socioeconomic challenges, such as aging population, commodity price shocks, especially oil prices, which obviously affects the traditional resource-based industries, oil and gas, mining also. And so we were interested in studying the role of the university in this particular context. And we are studying also the role of Memorial because of its special obligation that was, it's in Memorial's DNA, as Rafael said, since it has been since the creation of the university in 1949. And so it has this special obligation to contribute to the development of the province through education, research, and collaboration. So we thought that was very relevant, and not a lot of universities have this practice since such a long time. It also, so as I was saying previously, it looks at how Memorial is also helping to modernize the economy through its special obligation, and how it is helping the province in the post-pandemic phase, how it is helping the province transform and grow through knowledge-based research. So the review was a collaboration between, of course, the OECD, Memorial University, especially the Harris Center. Rob was the architect and founder of all of this. But we also counted with the great support of an excellent group of experts and peer reviewers. We counted with this. We went to Newfoundland, and we have in our team members of the Innovation Policy Lab at the Moog School of Global Affairs and Public Policy of the University of Toronto. So Shiri Bresnis, that's with us today, and Scott McKnight. Then a member of the Academy of Smart Specialization of the University of Karlstad in the Värmland region of Sweden. So Anders Olsen, who's also with us today. And these are pictures we took during our mission to Newfoundland. We don't have all of the core team, but some of them are there in the picture. And quickly on the process is that, of course, we started this collaboration in March 2022, selecting the experts. Then one of the experts, Scott McKnight, prepared a background report on the state of innovation in the province more widely, which helped us understand a little bit the context in which the university was located in and the economic context in the province of Newfoundland, sorry. Then we conducted a study mission of 1 week. So it was us two, Rafael and I, and the experts I just mentioned. And we interviewed a lot of stakeholders, as many of you know. So from different faculties in the university, we saw a lot of, we visited the Ocean Science Center, CC Core, yeah, we met a lot of people, including representatives of local governments, the city of St. John, representative of the Great Greenfield campus. So it was really a comprehensive mission to understand a little bit more the role of the university. Then we just switched to the drafting phase. And we submitted the review for comments in January, and we finalized the review after a first batch of comments. And we are now here for the launch of the review. And the publication will be available shortly on the OECD website and on Memorial's website. So on the findings of the review, well, as we mentioned, we said it's a case with an international relevance for many reasons, including its special obligation to the people of the province since its creation. It has very strong ties with the industry. It's among the top 5 universities in Canada that receives funding from business for research activities. And a lot of the research that the university does is linked to the regional needs. It also has expanded over the years its presence in the province, 3 campuses in St. John, 1 in Greenfield, in the west part of Newfoundland. And it has just opened a campus in Labrador in Happy Valley Goose Bay. It has a very solid public engagement strategy. As Rob was mentioning, it's an international good practice. It enables Memorial to connect with SMEs, local municipalities, and it has become a hub for bringing stakeholders together. And I will focus on this last point a little bit more, because to us, this is a really good practice. So as many of you know, it has created the public engagement framework is the foundation of this public engagement strategy. It was created in 2013. It started in 2011 with a broad stakeholder consultation of public and private stakeholders. And so once the public engagement framework was enacted, then there was several public engagement units were created, the Harris Center, the Office of Public Engagement, to implement this framework. And the Harris Center, which mission is to focus on the economic development of the province, has been working as a hub connecting SMEs, but also community business development corporations, which are government agencies supporting SMEs, local municipalities, indigenous communities, NGOs to find solutions to provincial challenges. So for instance, the Harris Center organizes events to convene some of these stakeholders and understand the challenges these stakeholders face, so they can come up with solutions. So it's really has been, the Harris Center acts here a little bit like the architect. It's building the architecture for local stakeholders to convene. The Harris Center has also supports communities by bridging knowledge from the university to the region. So it has, we found that it has a good digital platform to give visibility to research called yafl.ca. So we did a screenshot in the right side of the slide, sorry, where you can see a little bit more about the portal and how it presents the different research projects by areas. And then if you click on one of the projects, you see a little bit more the project description, who is leading, what is the partner organization, and who are the researchers involved. So we really thought that was a good practice of the university in terms of giving visibility to research done for the needs of the community. And also the center has several research funds, such as the Thriving Research Fund that funds research for sustainable impact. So meaning it gives some funding to researchers that carry research that is linked to the needs of the province. Then we also saw that Memorial has a very strong entrepreneurial pipeline, meaning that it has courses on entrepreneurship for students and researchers. The Faculty of Business Administration of the campus of St. John and the Greenfield campus all have courses on entrepreneurship. The MBA also includes courses on the entrepreneurial mindset. So this is emerging trend, and this is something that we saw in other universities across the globe. But Memorial is following that trend. It also has pedagogic centers, what we call pedagogic centers, such as the Center for Entrepreneurship, where students that can go and try to fine-tune a little bit their business idea. They don't have still a product, but they can go there and receive mentoring to put in place a startup, start reflecting on something, a more concrete business idea, project plan, or product. Then we found also that the third level, it's includes the different incubators that Memorial has. So Genesis in St. John's, Navigate in Greenfield, and the Research and Innovation Office. So Genesis, of course, is very well known. It has a 3-year incubation program called Enterprise. It's open to staff of Memorial, but also to startups located in St. John's or in the province. One of the requirements is to have a minimal viable product. And so over the last 20 years, more or less 25 years, 70 startups have emerged from Genesis. So it's really a hub of innovation. Same for Navigate, which includes a makerspace, an entrepreneurship center, an incubator, and has really been supporting students in the campus, but also local startups. So, and Memorial is also, of course, a leader in ocean science. We found that it has been supporting strongly the ocean-based industries. So by training, research, and collaboration activities. So as you all know, it has training in fields related to ocean science and innovation, training in marine engineer and oceanography. 40% of Memorial's research is ocean related. It has 18 Canadian research chairs, and 5 of those chairs are undertaking research in important ocean-related fields. Then it has several facilities and programs to support ocean innovation. And of course, you all are very familiar with the Coast initiatives. We found it was very interesting because it's a cross-faculty initiative that also involves supported by the private sector, and it leads research in several areas related to cold ocean and Arctic science. And we thought it was also very interested from knowledge transfer perspective, because even the Faculty of Science and Humanities is involved. They're conducting research related to energy extraction in determined specific parts of the province and how it affects local populations. So this initiative is very comprehensive, but of course there's not only this initiative, there are several other initiatives. There's the core science building that has a reserved space for industry and R&D collaboration. It has the National Research Council on campus, and Memorial also has two specialized institutes that focus also on ocean science. It has CCOR, which is independent a little bit from the university. It provides research solutions for offshore industries or for oil and gas, but aerospace and defense also. So it provides cutting edge technologies and initially is located in St. John's, but also has offices in Ottawa and Halifax. And it manages its research a little bit on its own. Liaises directly with the industry and has control over the intellectual property. Doesn't liaise with Research and Innovation Office of Memorial. Then there's the Marine Institute, which is a campus of Memorial that provides education and training and applied research for ocean industries. What's interesting about this institute is that, of course, it provides training for bachelor, master's, and PhD students, but it also has more shorter certificates, such as the technical certificate for 1 year in marine safety, for instance. And so it really acts as a knowledge center in the field of ocean science. And it really has an ambitious vision for the province to help it become the world leader in applied science, ocean education, and research. And then Memorial, of course, is involved in the ocean supercluster, which connects the university with public and private stakeholders across Canada. It also has the Lab to Market Oceans project, which is dedicated to the creation of ocean science startups. So we thought that this was a very comprehensive approach to ocean science, and it's really contributing to the development of that. Then, if I can summarize quickly, it's the only university and following its special obligation, Memorial is a leader in university community engagement. Internationally, we found that compared to other universities, it has very strong ties with this community, and as we saw, especially thanks to its public engagement strategy and the work of the Harris Center, it acts as a convening hub where local actors can meet and gather together to reflect on challenges that the province encounters. It has a strong entrepreneurial pipeline, very good international best practice in that field, where it has courses, but it also has entrepreneurship centers and incubators, and it's supporting local startup development. and it's supporting the nascent technology sector. And we saw that it's also supporting the ocean industry through training, research, and Memorial is really the only and main actor of the innovation system. So globally, we found that Memorial is contributing to raising the attractiveness of the province and diversifying its economy, mainly by providing this new talent, this new entrepreneurial pipeline, and by really developing cutting-edge technology solutions in the field of ocean science. And to conclude, we have some suggestions for the university. The first one is just to enhance the incentive for cooperation within the university. We saw that there were a lot of initiatives, a lot of different institutes and campus, but sometimes these operate these carry their collaboration with the industry on an ad hoc basis, and collaboration is a little bit scarce, and that sometimes can lead to fragmentation and duplication of activities. So we recommend trying to find a way to enhance collaboration, enhance incentives for staff and faculty in order to engage with external stakeholders, and create evaluation frameworks to understand the university's impact. So this is very important.
Can you hear us, Maria? You've frozen on us for a second.
When?
I'm hearing some lights there.
We had the problem.
Can you see us, Raphael?
Sorry, there was a glitch in the last minute. Maria can go on.
Okay, she good to go?
Yes, sorry. So you cannot see me, but
You're back. We can see you.
yes, thank you. I'm sorry, my computer just crashed in the worst moment.
Of course.
So no, I was talking about incentives and how it is needed we need to enhance incentives for staff and faculty to develop innovation, entrepreneurship, meaning consider this in the career promotion criteria of staff. This is done by some universities at the international level, and we think that we have highlighted in the review some of the case studies that could inspire Memorial. Also, Memorial could create an evaluation framework to evaluate and assess its progress in leading entrepreneurship and knowledge transfer activities. The second big recommendation is about focusing on the new areas of development of the province. So the province has a good source of renewable energies that the government of Newfoundland wants to exploit, and Newfoundland and Memorial has already started developing research in that field. There are several initiatives. There is also a group in Memorial that focuses on SDGs. So we think that the university should really continue that work, because stakeholders will be turning towards Memorial to understand a little bit more what's happening and how they can jump and be part of the green transition. We also saw that Memorial is advancing in everything related to the digital transformation. It offers courses on and degrees on computer science. It should further try to collaborate with the industries to adapt perhaps a format of training that is a little bit more interactive and more tailored to the needs of the industry. And yes, those were a little bit the two main recommendations that we had. So one, enhancing collaboration and incentives inside the university, and two, looking forward to the new areas of development where Memorial can really support the province to go through this green and digital transition. Thank you.
So it was not bad to have two computers in the same room at the end.
Of course. Well, thank you, Maria and Raphael, and we're looking forward to the report being released in the next short while. We had planned it for today, but there were some glitches at the end. But I'll be presenting at Oceans Advance on Thursday morning, so we'll just have this as a traveling roadshow as we await the final report. But this session, we have the team who contributed to the report, as well as with Raphael and Maria who wrote it. So we'll now move to a panel discussion, and then we'll open it up to folks in the room and online. So I'm going to start with Sherry Bresnitz, who was here with Anders and other members of the team for an intensive week of meetings when we had the OECD team here. Sherry, you've done a lot of work on the role of universities in entrepreneurship and innovation, and you worked on this project. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and then share some of your insights about what makes Memorial's approach unique? What jumps out to you?
Thank you, Rob. So introductions. I'm a professor at the Monk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy. I'm an economic geographer by training, and my main focus is on the contributions of universities to economic development, specifically with the focus on technology commercialization. I have to say this, it was a fascinating trip to Newfoundland and to learn a lot about Memorial. And I don't think I told you, Rob, but when I came back, I requested a meeting with the Dean of Arts and Sciences to say that we need to learn from Memorial. So, this is in a way to say what I think about Memorial's activities when it comes to technology commercialization. I think the part that makes Memorial unique is the fact that you created a really clear pipeline of where the technology starts, what is the difference between, when you do basic research, but also very clearly explaining to faculty and outsiders where they need to go to when they need certain kinds of information, that there's different steps. So different, as when you come with an idea, where do you go? What is the person, when do you go to Genesis versus when do you go to a different kind of accelerator? And so it's very, very clear. The accelerators and incubators talk to each other, which is very, very unique. Knowing exactly what you can receive, what kind of information, what kind of help, what fits better for your idea or your company if you already have a company. And I know you all are living it, and for you it means that it's, this is your system. But when I look and compare this to a lot of other places around the world, this is very, very unique. It's very unique, even just by, searching and finding who are the right people to talk to. So you've achieved that on a level that is really important. It should be, in my view, a good example for other institutions to follow. And I hope you continue that way, because I think it makes it very, very clear and helps. According to the feedback we received from companies and from startups, they are very happy with what they are receiving at Memorial.
That's fantastic, Sherry. Thanks so much. And wonderful to hear that, we can help our colleagues at the University of Toronto improve their game. Merritt Gertler, of course, president there, is a colleague in innovation studies. And I have to admit, for our European fans, or our friends, this will mean less. I am a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and they are winning for a change. So we're all in helping Toronto these days. Well, most of us anyway. Anders, you no doubt are following hockey. The Swedes are almost as good as Canada. You were here with the study mission. You're from the rural province of Värmland in Sweden, and you were a peer reviewer for the study. And you contributed to create the Academy for Smart Specialization at the University of Karlstad, which was an early study for the OECD in this project. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then elaborate on this experience and perhaps about the role that universities can play in non-metropolitan regions? And are there any insights or best practices you think could apply for Newfoundland and Labrador from your experience?
Yes, thank you, Rob, and really nice to reconnect with you and the Memorial University people in Newfoundland. But first and foremost, I must say I was really impressed of what I saw in Newfoundland last summer. The Memorial University is well connected with the societal and business needs, and you have far more resources than our university, Karlstad University, in my home region, Värmland, in Sweden, in this respect, especially also in research terms. And I also saw a strong entrepreneurial spirit among the people we met there. So I'm Anders Olsson, manager of Smart Specialization in the Swedish region Värmland. And Smart Specialization for you Canadians is that it is a policy initiative for all regions of Europe. It's about the region's international competitiveness, focusing on the most promising areas of innovation, entrepreneurship and growth, and which contributes to sustainable development as well. And investing in research and innovation is key in smart specialization. And me personally, I have been developing the region's cooperation with Karlstad University since more or less 2 decades now. And it was started, the starting point was an OECD project around 2006 with the name Supporting the Contribution of Higher Education Institutions to Regional Development. And we, at that time, got a number of recommendations from the OECD team then about focusing on the clusters, both from the region side and from the university side, form a contract between the university and the region and with the industrial clusters in mind. And that's actually what we have done since then. So the cooperation has developed with Karlstad University, has developed and also institutionalized over the years. And since 2015, it goes under the name the Academy for Smart Specialization. So right now we are in the second contract with Karlstad University. It's over 7 years until 2028. And what we do is that we co-fund research and innovation projects in all our smart specializations. Researchers cooperate with the cluster organizations and their member companies and other business and societal partners. And we can see that more and more researchers and research groups join this collaboration. Researchers from different disciplines find each other thanks to the Academy for Smart Specialization. And in one case, a research group has been formed thanks to the investments we've made in the Academy for Smart Specialization. So it's quite often multidisciplinary collaborations where subjects such as computer science, service research, meets material science, additive manufacturing, solar cells, technical chemistry, health science, nursing, economic geography, gender science, etc. And the Academy for Smart Specialization is central part of the Smart Specialization strategy. So the Academy is an important part of also the university's strategy. So it comes from both sides, so to speak. And that's perhaps something we would like to see more of in Newfoundland and Memorial, that this is two-way cooperation. So it's not a third and lowest ranked mission for the university. It's also central part of the strategy for the university as a whole. So just some quotes from the OECD report that I made for Värmland. That is, they found a commitment to the implementation and subsequent performance of the strategy that is evident across a large range of regional innovation actors, including the regional authorities, across the university and the cluster organizations in Värmland. And they found the Academy for Smart Specialization to be a good practice. The trusty strategic cooperation has led to the research capacity being able to be systematically built up and to new and existing educations having been developed as well. But just ending with a personal reflection from Memorial University and the visit at Newfoundland. And it's about what happens in a dramatic transformation in the north of Sweden these days. I don't know if you are aware of that. The industry is transformed into the green economy by producing carbon-free steel and batteries. And there are investment plans for around $100 billion the years to come. And the need for immigration of around 100,000 people during this 15 years to come, with the population today of 500,000 inhabitants. And this is thanks to natural resources as iron ore and abundance of renewable energy and the willingness to invest in this future industry. So I can see some similarities with what you have in Newfoundland, with your natural resources of minerals, abundance of potential renewable energy, and a university with the capacity to be a driver for a green transition. And in addition to that, you also have the ocean perspective, of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anders. And I'm watching the clock, so we may just do one round of questions initially with the panel, come back to you at the end. Michelle and Kendra, you're here with us on this side of the Atlantic, and the OECD report, Michelle, recognizes Genesis as a good practice. I prefer the term best practice, but some folks like to believe you can always improve. So I always exaggerate, but I think Genesis is a best practice, showing that Memorial University is mobilized at different levels to promote entrepreneurship, and Sherry's points were really clear. Let us know a little bit more about yourself, but can you comment on what is, according to you, the most important achievement of Memorial in this field? What would you suggest that we can do to strengthen as an entrepreneurial university?
Sure. So first of all, Genesis is an incubator for high growth technology companies. We say we exist to help build amazing technology companies in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador exclusively. We are a wholly owned entity of Memorial University. And I was thrilled to hear Sherry say earlier that the IP agreement for the university is, in fact, appears to be, in fact, working. Many of you may recall that the IP agreement within the university is a relatively new one. I think it was produced in 2016, the current version. And there are a lot of entrepreneurs in this region with scars from the old IP arrangement that the university had. And so the transition appears to be, by some accounts, at least working. So I'm thrilled to hear that. And I would say perhaps one of the underlying keys to our success as a set of incubators and support entities within Memorial University is really the collaboration that Sherry talked about. We are a real connected unit within the university. There's Genesis, there's Navigate in Grenfell, in Corner Brook. There's MCE and the Center for Social Enterprise, Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship, and the Center for Social Enterprise at main campus. They also have Bounce there, which is a partnership between Memorial University and TechNL. We also have the Research Innovation Office at the university and a number of other smaller players. And we really are a connected unit. We talk to each other all the time. We collaborate with each other. We share clients. We share seats on each other's boards of advisors so that we can talk about programming elements and how we don't duplicate and don't overlap with our services. And we really have a focus and an emphasis on the continuum of entrepreneurship through the university. And so understanding that a student or a researcher may come up with an idea in a lab or in a classroom and want to take that further. And then the idea is that they evolve through the varying different programs to get out the other end to build an amazing company, whether that be technology related or not, or social related or not. But the ultimate goal is that we build successful companies for the economy of this province. Our mandate from the university is to create wealth for the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. So we've been heavily focused on that for the last 25 years. And then lastly, to answer the last part of your question about what do I think we can do better. And at Genesis, one of our core values is continuous improvement. So I always believe we can do better. I think that we need to permeate entrepreneurship training and curriculum into all the different faculties and departments and disciplines. I think, doctors go on to become entrepreneurs, nurses go on to become entrepreneurs, psychologists go on to become entrepreneurs, and geologists and so on and so forth. And we're not doing justice to our graduates if we don't take that next step and build entrepreneurial training and curriculum and design that into the thinking, especially in 2023, because I think it was different in maybe 2005. We weren't seeing as many professionals going out and starting their own companies. If you were an accountant, you were working for an accounting firm, and that's not as much the case today as it would have been back a number of years ago. Also, I think as entities inside of the institution, we've been talking about it for quite some time, but we all need to get under one roof. And I think we have an enhanced collaboration already. When it's under one roof, and you can really turn things inside the institution. I know there's a lot of people at MUN talking about that and working on that, and I think it'll come to fruition sooner rather than later. But I do believe a united collaborative space where entrepreneurs in arts and entrepreneurs in engineering and in business and what have you can collide with each other in the hallways and can work together and can solve challenges and problems. So,
thanks, Michelle. So last comment from the panel before we go to Q&A, just in keeping an eye on the time here. Kendra, the OECD report highlights the Ocean Supercluster, which you have led. The supercluster attempts to generate an entrepreneurial ecosystem on the blue economy. Would you say this objective is being achieved? And what can the research and academic community, including Memorial, do to enhance the current dynamic? What kind of policy interventions would you recommend?
That's a very big question in 3 minutes, but I'll do my best to at least provide a few comments. So in terms of the supercluster itself, is it working? I'd say it's still early days. We took on a really big cultural change with what we're trying to do with the supercluster in terms of collaboration across industry and government and small and large business and our entrepreneurs and our investors, and then pan-Canadian, pan-Atlantic, Indigenous, and Western. And so, we are seeing that is working, and we're seeing changes in behaviors, but I think that there's still lots more to do. We really see ourselves as the supercluster, as the network of networks. And so if you look at cluster theory, you need each of your regional hubs or where the geographic density is to be strong. And so we've heard through all the discussion that Memorial plays a very key role in this regional hub and in this regional hub for ocean. And so the stronger that leadership role, then the stronger Canada is overall, as long as we continue to replicate that across the country. So I think that's really exciting. Memorial plays a number of key roles in that ecosystem. One is talent. We know that to achieve the growth ambition that we have for Canada, And for the region, we need talent, and Memorial is a key producer of talent. So making sure that the programming is aligned with what industry is looking for. We need research. So there's lots of big ocean questions as we look to solve the challenges in ocean. We talked about climate. Well, if you look at carbon sequestration and the number of questions there, if you look at aquaculture and the number of questions there, these are scientific questions. And so the researchers play a key role. And we need entrepreneurs, and Michelle talked about all the different things and programs that Memorial has around entrepreneurship. So how do we continue to foster that spirit of entrepreneurship that we really need to bring to these opportunities? We have a lot of traditional sectors in the ocean economy, and it's our innovators and entrepreneurs that are helping those traditional sectors to make the changes that they need to make to be able to be part of the economy of the future. And I think collaboration, right? So collaboration is one of our principles as a cluster. I think Newfoundland Labrador does it very well. I played a role with TechNL as well. We talk to each other. We're a small place. We work together. It is a strength of our ecosystem. It is a strength in the way that we support our companies. And so the more that we help, what we see is we have very good collaborators, and then we have those that say that they're collaborating, but they're not necessarily collaborating very well. And so how do we truly replicate that spirit of collaboration? Because it is that we see as a differentiator in terms of our model and the growth that we can have. So I think, Memorial's doing a lot of things and has the opportunity to do many more things in terms of the role that it plays. What I will say, as I travel a lot globally, is Memorial is a bit of a best kept secret. And I had somebody at Memorial say to me globally, right? They said, well, we're so busy doing Kendra that we don't have time to tell our story. But I think as we see more international collaboration, and certainly in the ocean conversation, right, we are all interconnected. And so being part of the global conversation, and I know Memorial is, but it is not, I don't hear about the vision of Memorial and the leadership of Memorial at an international scale the way I hear about others. And I think that is a tremendous opportunity with all the strengths that we've just talked about to be able to capitalize on that further in the international conversation. So I'll stop there and give you 1 minute for questions.
Thanks, Kendra. Great message for us. And Kathy, I think, is telling me, hopefully folks online are okay for another few minutes over. We're sticklers on time at the Harris Center, but this is such a good panel. Kathy, any folks online with questions? And then we can also go to the room. Okay, so anybody in the room have a question or comment? We can get the mic to you. You can introduce yourself briefly and a succinct question or comment if you like. Yes, please.
Thank you. Mine is more of a comment, I guess, than a question. My name is Mike Keogh. I chair a group called Older Workers of Newfoundland and Labrador, and also one coastal people resource development resource protection group. But my comment is, first of all, I've had a number of children go to Memorial University. I pay for you here at Memorial University. I now have grandchildren starting to go to Memorial University. I've used these facilities at the Harris Center since about 2017, and I must compliment the Harris Center on the high level of professionalism and excellence that they've always exhibited in making us aware, the group that we are, of the services they have and assisting us to implement a lot of our ideas. They've also been very embracing of any feedback we've had and have acted on any concerns that we have. If I have one concern in Newfoundland and Labrador, is that politicization may be watering down the reach out of Memorial University, and that I see other colleges starting to show up in areas and doing much of the same thing that Memorial University is doing. It'll be a duplication of cost, a duplication of effort, and a duplication of excellence, the people that we have. So I hope the politicians pay attention and realize this is not a competition between outside the overpass and inside the overpass, and that we have a wonderful world-class resource here in the Harris Center, and I hope that they use it. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks very much. That was not a planted comment. I think there was another hand up. Michelle, you saw someone?
Online, I think. There's
Kathy?
one online.
Oh, online. Okay.
Sorry, folks, my computer's not cooperating. How can Memorial go by accessing international markets in the blue, accessing international markets in the blue economy sector?
So that maybe is a good one for Kendra to comment on initially. Kendra.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the university already actually has a number of international partnerships. So part of that is getting involved. It also has international partnerships through Memorial's role as part of the Ocean Frontier Institute, who is also fostering international partnerships. So that's another way to be able to get involved. And then from a supercluster perspective, we have international partnerships with certain countries that are increasingly providing opportunities for our companies and their partners. And I know Oceans Advance as well is connected, and Oceans Advance, maybe for those that are less familiar, is our local ocean cluster leader from a Newfoundland perspective. And they have a number of partnerships as well. So I think there's several different ways, but I mean, you can start with the relationships that Memorial already has and Memorial has through the Ocean Frontier Institute.
Thanks, Kendra. Any others on the panel want to jump in on that one? Okay, any others online or in the room? We're going to have, as I say, a follow-up session with Oceans Advance 2 days from now. And then when the report comes out, well, I won't do my concluding remarks quite yet. Kathy, good to go? Okay. Oh, one up here. And then I am going to go back to the panel maybe with this question and for a quick final comment on where you see us going from here. Yes, please introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Gara Johnson, Director of Workforce Development with Econex. And it was just interesting to hear about what our sector is doing, Memorial, and the collaborations within to foster the growth of ocean entrepreneurship within the sector and globally, I would say. One thing I saw in the consideration was talent under the second aspect of that was shared. And I just wanted to find out what talent gaps are we seeing within the blue economy? Because I know that as we bring in more entrepreneurs, and when you talk about scaling entrepreneurship, you talk about you need talent, you need people to scale, right? So what kind of gaps are we seeing, whether it's within Newfoundland, I'll focus within Newfoundland, I'd say, within that sector.
I think on that question, again, I'm going to pick on Kendra. Glad we have you on the panel, Kendra. Any response on that one?
Yeah, so I mean, I think so. Talent is the number one issue that we hear from our companies in terms of their ability to grow, and for us as a nation to be able to achieve our ambition. Part of that is an awareness gap. So how do we get more HR professionals in ocean? How do we get more technology professionals? They're developing robotics or augmented reality or artificial intelligence. How do we have them thinking about bringing those solutions to ocean? And so I think the ocean economy, you look at the traditional sectors are having trouble being able to attract talent. So whether that is offshore energy, whether that is fisheries and aquaculture, because of some of the perception, perhaps challenges. And then you've got some of the new capabilities that are very relevant to the sector that are not necessarily thinking about being part of the sector. So we have, and then we have the challenges of trying to bring international talent in and the time that that can sometimes take for our companies. So they've identified the talent, but they have trouble bringing it into the country. So there's no particular place that we're seeing talent shortages. I would say more technical is what we're hearing. The technical is taking longer to fill the technical positions than perhaps the non-technical positions. But it is a tremendous issue. And so there's lots of programs across the country. One of the things we're trying to do as a cluster is be able to figure out how we make people aware of the programs that already exist. How do we raise awareness in terms of the opportunities overall? But obviously Memorial plays a key part in terms of being able to help us educate the talent and increase the awareness of the ocean opportunities with the programs that it has.
Thanks, Kendra. I think Michelle, and make sure you project into that mic there.
I will. I'm just going to put a plug out for our friends at TechNL. I think either just before or just after Christmas, they were awarded about $27 million from the Government of Canada. It was the largest labour market development funding initiative, I think, in the country. And if you go to their website, you will find some of the technical and talent shortages that exist in the technology sector. And TechNL has partnered with 13 educational institutions across Newfoundland and Labrador to try and fill those gaps and those shortages. So I would encourage you to speak with the folks at TechNL. They're doing a lot of work in that area.
Thanks, Michelle. And I think we'll do a quick short snappers from our panel to clue up. Sherry, what would you see looking forward, most important thing Memorial can do to extend its support and collaboration with Newfoundland Labrador innovation and ocean sectors? And I'm going to ask all of you the same question. Sherry.
Thank you, Rob. First, I just want to say, Michelle, that I didn't say anything about IP policy. I was referring just to the ecosystem and the relationship between the organizations. So don't put me on a hold for that one. So the one thing I think there's as we talked about, there's a lot of unique things that Memorial, St. John, and Newfoundland have in the innovation ecosystem. But you have very unique institutions within the university that are part of the innovation ecosystem. And I'm talking about Marine Institute, Seacor, and others who are highly connected with the private sector and have very special and interesting projects all the time. I think historically, we learned a lot in our visit about the history and how they became part of Memorial. But I think that connection needs to be improved, both between those centers and the university and teaching students, but also with other departments. So you have very strong departments with specific faculty that are working with industry on top of these specific institutions. If we're connecting this to the question before about skills, these are the institutions that know what's happening now on the ground, the newest research and the new skills that you need. So finding ways to connect with them better and connect them to teaching programs, I think will also improve and answer some of these questions about talent as well.
Thanks, Sherry. Michelle, any last quick thought, suggestion?
Just one big thing. I think we need to tell us our story better, and we need to shout it from the rooftops globally, not just in our own backyard to each other. I think we need to get out there more and start talking about all the great things that is happening at MUN.
This report was partly in that effort. And Kendra, you've already said that. Anything else you want to say before we clue up the panel?
Yeah, so Michelle probably stole mine, but that's all good. I think don't underestimate the role that Memorial can play in terms of a vision for where this innovation ecosystem can go. We've heard a number of great things, how they play together. They're doing things that can be replicated, and to the extent that we can replicate them across the province first, and then across the country, and then around the world. And so, how do we to do that and be that visionary leader for where we're going as an innovation ecosystem?
Thanks, Kendra. Anders, any last suggestions, recommendations for us? Oh, you're on mute there.
Yeah. Take a look at what happens in the north of Sweden. That is a revolution, really, going into the green transition. I don't know whether the challenge is as big as we have in Sweden with the gender divided labor market. But take a look at one half of the population. If there is a well-educated pool of women that then can go into the more technical and tech sectors, and the multidisciplinary approach that we are taking at Karlstad University with multidisciplinary research teams, also going into the mission-based, mission-driven approach for transformation and innovation. And also, I've read the Monk report on storytelling, the narrative produced in a region in Canada, which was really transformational for the economy. So I think Shiri can guide you into that research that could also be very beneficial for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anders. And Maria and Raphael, we're going to be working with you for another few years. But for this day and this report, any last thoughts or recommendations?
Thank you very much, Rob. I have two comments in the sense that I think that Memorial has the responsibility to avoid that Newfoundland and Labrador evolve into a dual speed economy, because it is true that there are a lot of opportunities in technology intense sector, but the problem is how to connect this with the rest of your economic activities. And I think that the Harris Center and the rest of the entities that you have can think about that. The second point is about a clarification about ecosystems, in the sense that you have created a lot of entities, but again, as Shiri said, you should think and define also the connections and the collaborations among these entities, because in an ecosystem, the connection is as important as the entity. And then I think that what I wish for next is that we can, of course, keep on cooperating and using Memorial as a laboratory. For instance, the transversal approach that you have to entrepreneurship education, the mobilization, as she would say, is very, very interesting for us to try to move ahead in understanding what are these entrepreneurial skills as soft skills, transversal skills, and try to create systems to provide individuals with the certification of their entrepreneurial mindset. I don't know if Maria wants to add something.
No, yeah, effectively, all the key messages that the panel said, like Rafael just said, are in the report. So we're glad to see that we're all aligned. And it was super interesting to hear about this idea of mainstreaming entrepreneurship as the next step of creating collaborative spaces where entrepreneurs can collide from different areas. That's something we highlighted in the report. The bringing the vision of Memorial at the international level, that's something that we also recommended. And yeah, so I'll stop there, but yeah, happy to see that we are all aligned.
Well, thank you both, and thank you all. To our partners at the OECD, Maria and Raphael and all their team, so great to work together on this, and we look forward to the report in the coming days. To our panelists, Michelle, Sherry, Anders, and Kendra, thanks so much. Can't leave out really important ACOA and the government of Newfoundland and Labrador for your support to help fund this project, and to our other government partners and industry and community and college who were all part of the various teams. We did this project in an engaged way. So we did have a steering committee. Thank you so much to the members of that from the community and the university. We had a background chapter authorship committee. We had our research advisory committee. We had a Memorial University coordinating committee. And all those people were really hands-on, fed into the final report for Marie and Raphael. And finally, to the Harris Center project team, who really do the heavy lifting to get this kind of work out the door. This is the second major project the Harris Center has partnered with the OECD on. And we look forward to the ongoing collaboration we've talked about in this initiative. And finally, thank to all of you in the room today and online. We can't do it without you. It's a lot of work to be done to build on the strengths we have, but it's really exciting to look at some of the recommendations we have and where we go next. We'll soon have the report available for download on the OECD website and the Harris Center website. We'll be emailing all the registered attendees from this session and all those who took part in the consultation sessions when the OECD were here, when that report is available. We encourage you to stay in touch about future events. Subscribe to the Harris Center Regional, our monthly newsletter, and you can find the link by heading to our website. And thanks for being here today. Really appreciate your ongoing collaboration. Get in touch if you have any ideas on future projects. We're always looking for new ideas. And thanks so much again online and in the room. Really exciting project. And as Raphael says, just the end of the beginning. More to come. All the best, everybody. And go Leafs go.